Welcome to Chapter 0, Lesson 3, Operations with Integers. So when we're adding integers with the same sign, something you need to remember is that a negative plus a negative is an even bigger negative. So for example, negative 3 plus negative 7 is negative 10. And I'm going to go here with the assumption that you all know how to add positive numbers. I would hope so because we are in the 8th grade. So some vocabulary that you need to remember when we are working with negative numbers is absolute value. So what the absolute value does is it is the distance a number is from 0. And what it does is it basically just turns that number to a positive. So the absolute value signs are just these straight lines. If you see the absolute value of 3, that's just straight up 3. If you need the absolute value of negative 3, your absolute value is always positive, so that would just be 3 then. So it's how far away that number is from 0, whether it be to the left or to the right. So here we want to use our absolute value to add positive and negative integers. So your steps for doing this is that your answer is the number of the sign with the greater absolute value. So here, negative 3 plus 5. Our answer is going to be positive. We take the bigger number, so the bigger absolute value, minus the smaller absolute value. So all we're going to do, right, the absolute value of 3, or of negative 3, is 3, and the absolute value of 5 is 5. We take the bigger one, minus the smaller one, to get us 2. And then our answer is positive, so 2 is just the answer there. Over here, we have 3 and negative 5. The absolute value of negative 5 is greater, so our answer is going to be a negative. Then we take the bigger one, 5, minus the smaller one of 3, to get us 2. And since we said our answer had to be a negative, our answer here is negative 2. I hope we're jogging some memories here. Some more vocabulary words that we need to know is the word opposites. So it's a positive number and it's matching negative number. So negative 5 and 5 are opposites. Negative 372 and positive 372 are opposites. And that kind of gets you to go with your additive inverse. So an additive inverse is subtracting a number is the same thing as adding with its additive inverse. And then your additive inverse is your opposite. So 3 minus 5 is the same thing as 3 plus negative 5. And we just did that in our last problem. Our answer would be negative 2 because of our greater absolute value of negative 5. So we're going to try that out here. So we want to subtract positive integers. 18 minus 2. We just learned about our additive inverse. So 18 minus 23 is the same thing as 18 plus negative 23. The absolute value that is greater between 18 and negative 23 is 23. So our answer is going to be a negative number. We take the number that's bigger minus the number that's smaller, and we get 5 as our answer. And our answer needs to be negative. I already wrote that up here. So negative 5 is what 18 minus 23 gets us to. Now get ready for this. When you multiply or divide, negatives come in pairs. So what we're going to do here is multiply and divide with negative numbers. 4 times negative 5, our answer is going to be negative because our negative doesn't have a pair. 5 times 4 is 20. A negative and a negative, our answer is going to be positive. And 51 divided by 3 is 17. A negative times a negative, positive. 12 times 14, 168. And negative 63 divided by a positive will get us a negative number. 63 divided by 7 is 9. So you are welcome to go ahead and work on your assignment for this chapter.